Can I have pepper? Trade you pepper for potato.
Do you know how much her insulin costs?
No, but I know she's cute and she's way more snuggly than potato.
She is cute, but I need her. I'm sorry. She is very snuggly.
She is, I know. That's why I want her.
I know.
Cute kitty.
Yeah, and she was demanding pets before this, and I was like, I don't have time, kitty, so...
Aw.
Welcome to Stargatezing, a Stargate gazing podcast. I'm your host, Kathy.
And I'm your other host, Mary.
And each week we discuss an episode of Stargate, beginning with Stargate SG-1. Hi.
Hello.
How's it going?
How are you? I am good. I am tired. And I am sending an email.
Okay.
Just a second.
Sure.
Dun, dun, dun. Nothing important.
No problem.
Agreed. Ooh, I might as well send you this same picture that I was sending to my coworker. Because
Ooh.
I got a new tattoo today.
You did?
I did.
That's exciting.
It was exciting. I'm really tired because it was a pretty long session, and then also it was like an hour and 45-minute drive each way, but
Ooh.
the person is worth it, so.
Gotcha.
But it was a lot of driving, and I'm tired
That's
now.
a lot of driving.
Yeah, so I just sent you the picture. Tattoos are great.
Ooh.
It wraps most of the way around, and you can't really tell from that angle, but it's Sleeping Giant.
I was going to ask if it was a specific scene. That's so
back
cool.
Back in the day, before the farm there was replaced by a golf course, I went with the older view of a farm instead of a golf course.
You didn't want
in
the golf
foreground.
course.
Not so much.
I'm gonna tattoo my entire body as an 18-hole golf course.
The golf course is fantastic. I love it.
I think that's a solid plan for my life.
That is an excellent idea.
Having never gotten a tattoo before,
Right.
The key is to just go all in on something.
Yeah, go all in and get a full body
Yeah.
tattoo on your first one for sure.
Of something I'm very interested in.
Of something that you love so much. If there's one thing I know about you, it's how much you love golf. Just straight up traditional golf.
So much love for the golf.
Yep.
So much.
What we need to do is get our matching Stargate tattoos someday.
We will
When's
do
the appropriate time for us to go? I mean, we've already pretty much gone all in on the nerdiness, but like to go extra all in on the nerdiness with matching tattoos of a podcast that we are doing, or for a show for a podcast that we are doing.
I don't know. Probably soonish. I don't know.
Yes. I'm ready whenever you are.
That was nice and vague, just,
Yeah.
so you know.
I won't make you go all the way to Poughkeepsie with me, though. We can find someplace here in Connecticut.
But will they be as good?
I don't know, but I can't imagine that we're just going to be doing a line art, so that's not that hard. Like this one was a full-on landscape painting, essentially.
Yeah, that's true.
So I was a little pickier about who I went to for this one.
That's totally fair.
Yeah.
Are there tattoo artists who specialize in like certain types of tattoos? Or...
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, different artists typically will specialize in different styles or different subject matter even. And not all of them do. Some of them are like generalist and can do kind of everything, but some just like only prefer to do this kind because they're doing well enough that they can be picky, or they prefer to do this style, or they really specialize in a certain style. Like I actually found her because she specializes in doing white ink on black. So when I decided I wanted to get that black dragon I had covered up with a white Archaeopteryx skeleton, I found her because she was supposedly like one of the best people to go to for white on black. But then I saw some of the other work she'd done too, and I was like, oh, she could totally do this color armband that I want also. So
Awesome.
I went back to her for this one too. Yeah.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
I cut my own hair today, or yesterday.
Nice.
Yeah. It was well past time. So...
I should probably get a haircut soon, but I'm not gonna bother. Maybe I'll let you cut my hair. I don't trust myself to cut my own hair.
You won't trust me either. I mean, I don't think it's terribly uneven or anything, but I wouldn't. It's sort of like, I was thinking about this today, like when I used to get haircuts, like a normal person in a place where people with professional skills give haircuts, I would get very upset if like it came out uneven or something.
Yeah.
But if I do it and it's not good, it doesn't matter. I did it myself.
Right. You didn't spend a bunch of money and waste a bunch of time on it, so.
So as long as I don't know if the YouTube tutorial I watched will translate into other people's hair. I don't know if I can handle that.
The last time I went and got a cut and color, it was the most money that I had ever spent on a cut and color, and way more than I would have spent if I had realized it was going to cost that much, and I wasn't even that happy with the cut or the color, so I was like, well, it's going to be a long time before I bother to do this again.
Yeah. I just was like, it's time, and I need to do it now.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. Should I mention my other fun news in addition to my fun tattoo?
Yes.
That I got that job that I interviewed for last time we talked. Whoa. I was hired yesterday.
Yeah.
So, yay! I'm not going to say where job number 3 will be either, but eventually people will be able to triangulate me just knowing that I work at 2 different colleges and a brewery.
I don't know. There's a lot of both of those in this state.
This is true. There are a lot of both of those in this state. I will be leading up their biology department in that I will be the only person in their biology department because they don't yet have a biology department, but they will when I start working there.
Yay.
Yes, indeed. So that'll be exciting too, and I'll be very busy. But next semester I found out that I'm only teaching classes that I've already taught before, so it'll be like way less work than I'm dealing with this semester trying to plan out a class that I haven't taught before. So
all right.
Yeah, make it work. I'll make it work. I can do it. I can do everything.
You can do all the things.
I can do all the things, including keeping this podcast going every week. All I need is enough uppers and beer. Alternately, that's healthy, right? That's fine. That's fine.
That's totally fine. Everything's great.
Yep. Yeah, so that's my day. My day
Nice.
/ and a half, because they just hired me not last night, but like late afternoon yesterday. I talked to them.
Yeah. Woohoo!
It's been an exciting couple days. I love tattoos. Beer is great. New jobs helping to make beer are great. And getting to do science and make beer at the same time, great. So,
hells yeah.
So yeah.
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 Are you having beer right now?
I am, actually. Good question. I am currently drinking a Harpoon IPA.
Oh, nice. Very good.
How about you? What are you drinking?
I am drinking an East Rock Oktoberfest.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Nice.
I wasn't going to break into them until Friday when we were hanging out, but I was like, it's time for a beer today.
Yeah, I was tempted. I went to the same brewery that I went to last time I was in Poughkeepsie and got that weird cucumber beer again, and a Kolsch that you'll hate. But
yay!
I was tempted to break into either one or the other of those. I'm like, I'll be good, and I'll also wait till Friday.
This is my only beer at the moment.
Yeah.
I even ran out of my NA beer, so.
We actually have a bunch left over from last week, and then
Nice.
I bought two 16-ounce 4-packs today.
Very cool.
Yeah, so we got plenty. And some non-alcoholic beer, too.
Huzzah!
Huzzah! It's an extra busy week because I've got a bunch of grading to do because it was exams week last week, so.
Ugh. Well,
Yeah.
we've had that discussion. You know my position.
I know.
We won't retread, but.
I know. I had my second round of exams after our last recording, so now I've got even more exams to grade, so. If anyone doesn't know what Kathy's opinion is, go back and listen. So rather than rehashing all of that, what are we talking about today?
Today we're talking about Stargate SG-1 Season 2, Episode 20. Show and Tell.
Helps if I have my notes open.
No
There
schmotes.
we are.
Just,
Nope, that's not
just
today.
talk from the heart.
Yes.
I'll give you little prompts about what each scene starts with, and then you just go from there.
That works. There. Oh, I totally named this the wrong number. I named the episode recording as 41, but it's not 41. It is 42.
Answer to the ultimate question.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. You can start, because I'm tired.
I will start.
Thanks.
No problem. Sorry. I just had a moment where I was like, wait.
I will start, you say, as you then proceed in silence.
Silence. We'll just let you think, listeners,
Yeah.
what you
Just
think.
Imagine the scene, what you think might be happening.
we're in the gate room with two, I don't know, technicians or something standing on the ramp.
At least one of them had a lab coat. So one science person and
engineer, who knows?
Guy.
I don't know.
A guy with some equipment.
Yeah,
science equipment.
They're doing gate stuff.
Sciencing.
Yeah. And we get an incoming traveler alarm going off, which I actually really like this because we usually hear that alert from elsewhere and they come running in after everything happens. But like, it was great to watch those people like scurry down the ramp
before they get vaporized.
Yeah. And then watch all of we've seen the men with the guns get in position before, but
yes,
I enjoyed that. I was like, I like this perspective.
Yeah.
Hammond and SG1 go into the control room, which we can see through the glass from the gate room, which again, I just like this whole scene. Anyway.
Yeah, it was, I agree. It was framed nicely.
Hammond asks who might be coming through. The gate technician person does not know. And then the iris just opens. And Hammond sternly says, I did not give the order to open the iris, mister. And I laughed so hard. For so long.
It was so funny.
That's such like a stern dad like finger wag.
Yes.
I wasn't expecting it. This man did not open the iris, however, and Hammond orders it closed again. He closes it, but then it immediately reopens. And Hammond's like, get that iris closed, Sergeant. And the dude says that the computer keeps overriding it. And then Sam sits down, probably to start looking at things. That's not that important. Anyway. And then someone steps through the gate. They're totally in an Ewok costume.
I know, right? That's what I called it too. They really are.
Yeah, he's got a hood and like a greenish hood, and then it's sort of a fuzzy footy pajama type outfit. It totally looked like an Ewok costume.
Totally looks like an Ewok. I actually literally wrote in my notes, then an Ewok comes through. Also known as the kid that was in the X-Files for a few episodes.
This kid?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I did. When? What? I don't remember that.
He was in some X-Files episodes.
Oh man, was he?
He played that kid that Mulder went and found.
Oh, was he bald?
I think he was.
Oh wow.
Maybe not.
I don't remember that at all. And
no, because he was in it a couple times. Like he came back a few years later, significantly older.
It's been a long time since I've done a full X-Files rewatch.
Yeah, fair.
I keep meaning to, and then I keep not doing it, which is the story of my life.
He played a very similar character in the X-Files to the one he played here.
Talks to invisible aliens.
Pretty much, I think, yeah. Actually,
all right.
If I remember the storyline correctly, kind of something like that.
The team in Hammond go to meet this Ewok in the gate room. The Ewok comes partway down the ramp and removes their hood, revealing it is not in fact an Ewok, but a bald child. And at this point, too, he looks over to the side, and there's some soldier, like, hiding behind something that, like, kind of pops his head out. It's just so weird.
Oh, I missed it.
I don't know why. I was like, okay. What is he doing? I don't know. Anyway, Hammond orders the boy be searched. Jack suggests Sam do it, because she is the designated child frisker. This time, though, it's not just because she's a lady, but also because she might be able to detect other stuff.
Yes. Like Goa'uld presences.
Yeah.
Silk should be able to do that too, though.
Yeah. But, you know, she's also the lady. I mean, they didn't even let Teal'c frisk his own kid.
Yeah, right? Yeah, that's true. And weird.
Yeah. So Sam smiles at the kid and says hi, asks his name. The kid just stares. She introduces herself and says she's gonna check you for things you probably know nothing about, but just in case. So she prods his ears and looks at his mouth and feels for other things. And she senses he is not Gold or Jaffa. She gets no Naquadah. Jack's like, what's he doing here? And then the boy says, I'm here to warn you. Credits.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. He's here to warn us. Warn them. Yes. We're not in that show.
Speak for yourself, Kathy.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
You should be. I'm actually looking up how many episodes that the kid played. Okay, so it was bugging me because I couldn't remember the character's name, but the character's name that he played was Gibson Praise.
Oh, I remember that name.
Yeah, he was actually in a bunch of episodes, not just 2 or 3. He was in 5 over the course of 4 years.
Did that kid have, like, psychic abilities or something, or...
You've got a dirty mind.
Yeah, something like that. I don't remember. There was something special and weird about him. He wasn't just like some random person's kid.
Okay. Wow, it was the same kid, huh? That's
Yep.
crazy.
Right?
Crazy. Anyway, yeah.
In the infirmary, Dr. Fraser is doing a further check on the kid. She says that he's human, and she did check for biohazardous teeth and bombs that he might be carrying inside of him, but he doesn't have any of those things, thankfully. She says he's really weak and probably malnourished. The kid talks to Jack and asks if he's Colonel O'Neill. Jack says he is. How did the kid know that? And he points at nothing and says, Mom told me. So, Jack and Dr. Fraser are a little skeptical of what's going on here with the kid pointing at nothing and having conversations with the air. But he says that his mom insists that he only talked to O'Neill because O'Neill is the only one he can trust. And O'Neill tries to tell him that he can trust everybody here in SGC. But the kid says that, nope, Mom is insistent that he only talked to Jack. Apparently, she saw how they've acted on other visits to other worlds, and she's been following them for several weeks. And in particular, she was prompted into action by watching their interactions with Tonani and his people. Everyone is really confused how he possibly could have actually known about all of this. And he says that his mom was watching them this whole time and thinks that Jack is an honorable leader because he was the only one that opposed to the stealing of the precious trinium.
Damn
and
right.
That is, yeah,
Sorry.
right? Well, I mean, like, everybody else was opposed too, so.
I mean, Hammond was like, it's still my orders, I'm gonna do it.
Well, true. I meant like everybody else on SG1
fair.
was opposed to it. But the kid actually specifies that his mom said that he's only supposed to talk to Jack because Jack is the leader and the other people might be honorable, but they're not the leader. So only Jack. And apparently the kid also knows that Jack had a son, and Jack's like, yep, his name was Charlie, but he's dead now. And the kid says he likes that name and would also like to be called Charlie from now on.
We're on a bridge, Charlie.
So that's weird, but Jack says it's okay. So the kid says, okay, Colonel O'Neill, I'm Charlie. And Jack says, hi, Charlie, you can call me Jack. And they shake hands. Jack sits down next to Charlie and asks where he's from. The planet is named Rutalia, and it used to be a nice place until most of his people were destroyed by creatures with glowing green eyes, which they figure is the gold. And Charlie says that the gold aren't actually the problem. It's the Ritu rebels that are going to come to try to destroy all the humans on Earth.
Great.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yes, very promising, very exciting.
Mm-hmm. We're just racking up enemies all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
Now.
The team is in the conference room at some point after this. Sam is explaining that the iris opened because it was behaving basically as normal, but as if control was commandeered from the main computer from another keyboard. So that's weird.
Yes.
Hammond asks about the boy.
Oh, son.
Jack says the kid survived a gold massacre. Dr. Fraser says that explains the existence of Mom as a psychological defense mechanism. He's convinced himself she never left him. But Daniel's like, how did he know about the Salish? And Jack's like, how do you know about my kid? And Daniel's like, is he psychic? Dr. Fraser shrugs, maybe more testing will turn something up. And Teal'c's like, shouldn't we be concerned about the Ritu attack?
Probably.
Yeah, probably. So Hammond thinks they need to determine the validity of the info from the boy. So he asks Teal'c to go with Jack to go talk to the kid and see if the attack he describes on his world sounds like a normal gold attack. End of meeting.
Yes. Down in the infirmary, it seems that Dr. Fraser just finished drawing some blood. Teal'c and Jack come in, and Charlie flips out when he sees Teal'c because he recognizes him as a Jaffa and thinks that Teal'c is going to kill him, but Jack promises that Teal'c is a good Jaffa. Charlie is not convinced. Jack talks out into the air, aiming at Charlie's mom, says Teal'c's cool, as are all the other people on the base. And this is specifically where Charlie says that his mom is said to only talk to him because he's the leader, as I mentioned before. Jack introduces Teal'c. Teal'c says he is pleased to meet the kid and has a cute little smile on his face, but then he suddenly looks extra serious and seems to be in pain and excuses himself from the room. Jack was just about to tell Charlie that they were there to ask him some questions, but instead he follows Teal'c out to see what is going on.
Teal'c tells Jack that the symbiote became very agitated in the room, and he's never experienced a symbiote so disturbed before, and tells Jack to use extreme caution with this kid. Jack's like, I was planning to. Teal'c cautions further that kids are basically just weapons to the Goa'uld. Jack's like, well, he's been checked out for all the usual Goa'uld children booby traps.
And there couldn't possibly be any new ones.
Dr. Fraser joins them, chiming in that there is no apparent threat to them from the child, but the kid is in even worse shape than she originally thought. Several of his major organs have congenital defects. She says Mother Nature seems to have put him together in a hurry and got everything a little wrong. So
that's bad.
Yeah. So he's got some heart problems, kidneys, lungs, good stuff. Poor kid.
Yeah.
And his outlook in life is not great.
No.
She says she may be able to help him, but maybe not. And then she shows them his CAT scan and says that a normal human's reticular formation that determines alertness and perception. Oh, that Charlie's is 2 times the size of that. And that could explain how he knew Jack had a son and his effect on the symbiote. Somehow.
No.
I don't know. Jack's like, he's got ESP, telekinesis. Fraser says she doesn't know.
As I've mentioned before, that reticular activating system is what, she was kind of right that it has to do with our alertness and awareness. That is what I was mentioning before an episode or 2 ago is damaged in a coma, but if it's twice its normal size, that's not gonna give you ESP.
How do you know? Have you ever...
Also, she wasn't actually pointing to a very good view of the brainstem in the image she showed, so that also made me laugh.
Have you ever doubled the size of one Mary to find out what happens? How can you be sure?
I can't say that I have, because it would smush other parts of the brain, and generally each part of the brain is the size that it needs to be to allow for space for all the other parts of the brain.
There's probably something in there you could pull out. Didn't Dr. Fraser say we only use 10% of our brain?
Fuck you, Kathy. You're the worst. Have I taught you nothing?
I don't listen.
Oh, nobody else does either.
Oh, that's not true.
All my students are getting Fs, not because I decided to give them all Fs, it's because no one listens. No, they're not all getting Fs. They're getting like solid Cs.
Ugh. That's like an F.
It's a hard class.
That's an F to me.
I know, but these are hard classes.
It is true. I didn't do any hard classes. I coasted my way through all the schooling. Through all the easy stuff.
I saw it.
Yeah. Did no work. Anyway, your next experiment should be doubling the size of a reticular formation to find out what happens.
It totally has a lot to do with brewing beer.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Oh my god, get them to name a beer reticular formation. Reticular fermentation? I don't know. Anyway.
Nice. Yes. This needs to be a beer now. I don't know what kind of beer it would be.
I don't know.
But it needs to happen.
What tastes like brains? Which hop is closest to brain taste?
I don't know, but El Dorado is gross and leathery, so I'm guessing maybe El Dorado?
Okay, well, you should definitely get them to make a beer that you wouldn't drink.
That I would hate,
yes.
Yep. Perfect. It's going to work out well. Anyway, I don't even know where we are in the
I
scene.
think
But
I've
it's your scene anyway.
Well,
So that doesn't
I think
matter.
it was mostly after that she just says, "Well, I'm a skeptic, but who knows?"
Oh,
and
yeah.
then she walks
Yeah.
away.
Yeah, that is pretty
That's
much
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Back in the infirmary, a little bit later, we get a close-up of the monitor showing an image of a not real body cavity scan, and Charlie is lying in bed. Jack asks why the Ritu want to attack us. And Charlie says that it's not the central authority, like their higher government, it's a bunch of rebels that want to attack Earth. Charlie says that it's because the glowy-eyed people attacked the Ritu, which initially doesn't really sound like it makes a whole lot of sense. He keeps looking to the side before he answers, like he's looking to his mom for answers. And then he says that apparently the Ritu think that they can't beat the Goa'uld directly, so they want to beat them by attrition. And Jack's like, attrition? So of course Daniel tries to dansplain what attrition means, and Jack is like, yeah, I know what it means, but what exactly is their plan? And Sam correctly guesses that the Ritu are hoping to kill all possible Goa'uld hosts in order to eradicate the Goa'uld, which of course means killing billions and billions of humans and non-humans alike, because lots of people can be hosts to the Goa'ulds. So Charlie's like, yep, and that's why I was sent here. Daniel asks for a little bit more clarification about the whole situation, and it turns out that Charlie is actually human, like he seems to be, but his mother is Ritu, a non-human species, and he was created by them essentially in a lab to be an intermediary so that they could communicate with the humans, because the Ritu cannot directly communicate with them. Hammond is also there and asks Sam if it's actually possible that there is a race of invisible beings in the room that they can't see, and Sam says, yeah, sure. Matter exists as particles and waves, so if the Ritu waves are 180 degrees out of sync with ours, then they would be invisible. Again, not a physicist. That sounds like BS to me, but also makes me wonder how they can watch us, but we can't watch them if they're 180 degrees out of sync, but we never get that answer.
No, we don't. I actually meant to look this up, but this day has been trash.
Yeah, same. I had actually kind of wanted to look into it too. My day was not trash. It was just a really busy day, so. Jack says, so we're supposed to prepare for invisible army then? Teal'c says that if there are any Ritu in the room, then it must have come through the gate, and so it can control the iris. Hammond asks Charlie how his mom managed to do that, and again he says that she came here weeks ago and has been watching them, and that is actually how she learned to open the iris. She was controlling the computer, and she was able to open it from another console, as Sam had said it was seeming to be acting. So Daniel clarifies the Ritu can manipulate things in our phase, even though we can't see them or interact with them necessarily, and Charlie says yes. Sam agrees that it's possible, but doesn't really think it's that likely. And Charlie says his mom is annoyed with their narrow-mindedness. And then all of a sudden there's an energy blast that comes out of nowhere and shoots out the monitor that was sitting there next to the kid. Jack calmly says, that came from where? And Charlie says, mother.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, when you don't like what people have to say, just shoot things.
Yeah.
In their general direction.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. For some reason, they take this holy monitor to the conference room with them. Hammond is looking through it.
Yes, I thought that was funny.
So, I don't, like, why?
See his face through the monitor.
So now they have to deal with the Ritu, which clearly exist, and they are an invisible threat. Sam says we need a way to detect them. Jack's like, helpful. Teal'c puts in that his symbiote seems to be able to sense the creature, and Jack says that is only a limited amount of helpfulness because he can't tell how many there are or where they are. Teal'c also says if his symbiote can detect them, then the Goa'uld also can. Daniel says they must have been able to see the Ritu to wipe them out. So Teal'c suggests perhaps the Tok'ra can help them. Hammond agrees and orders Sam and Daniel to signal the Tok'ra.
So they go outside and they send a signal.
They do.
And that's the scene.
Yes. Go on.
It was all, I see. Okay. In the gate room, apparently sometime later, we would guess, Jacob comes through the gate. Sam tells him that they need to talk to Selmac, and Jacob's like, oh, I thought maybe you wanted to see your dad. And Hammond's like, nope, I don't really want to see you either. We need Selmac, essentially. So Selmac comes out and says that they are happy to be there. Hammond asks what a Ritu is, and Jacob says something to another, the Tok'ra there, seeming to be pretty alarmed that Hammond is even asking him this. He then asks Hammond to send the guy back through the gate to where they came from, and asks if he can see Charlie.
Oh yeah, that was that scene, huh?
That was that scene. Pretty quick.
Pretty quick. In the infirmary, Charlie wakes up. Jack's hanging out with him. Charlie says he's really tired. And then a loud noise happens. The kid goes, for crying out loud. And Jack looks pretty amused.
Yes,
Seems to be
funny.
picking up some Jackisms already here.
Yes.
Jacob / Selmac enter the room, and the kid immediately gets super agitated again and tries to hop off the bed, but Jack catches him and tells him it's okay. So, I mean, Teal'c is visibly a Jaffa, but
Yeah.
Jacob just looks like a dude. So
Right.
so he can sense the gold too?
I guess he has a way of sensing the hagfish like various other characters have been
so.
able to
Yeah.
somehow.
Yeah.
I wonder if they genetically engineered him that ability specifically, or if it's an ability that like all the Ritu happen to have, and so they also gave it to him. Who knows?
One of the many questions we will never know the answer to.
Truth.
Jack tells Charlie it's okay. The Tok'ra are okay. And then Jacob looks like he's got a big headache. And Sam
Yes.
confirms that there is a Ritu in that room for him. And the other Tok'ra is back already with some devices and hands one to Jacob. And they say it will illuminate the Ritu if it's there. Then they use the device to the weapon basically to scan around the room. And they do make the Ritu appear behind Charlie. Charlie kneels on the bed in front of the Ritu, begging them not to hurt her. And Hammond orders everyone to hold their fire. So they lower their devices and leave the room. Jack apologizes to Charlie for not believing him. And Charlie was like, I wouldn't lie to you. Jack asks Charlie and Mom to stay there till he gets back, and he promises no one will hurt either of them.
Worth mentioning too that now that we've seen what the Ritu look like, they're not at all humanoid. They look like big insect things, kind of like almost a praying mantis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bugs.
Big, nasty bugs. In the meeting room, Jack asks how that thing can possibly be the kid's mom, and Daniel reiterates that they must have engineered him, as the kid already said that they did. Dr. Fraser adds that he was probably grown in a lab and engineered to have that larger reticular system in order to be able to perceive them. Jack asks how they would manage to do that while still leaving the kid so messed up in so many other parts of his body, but she points out that changing the reticular activating system could have had other side effects down the line that weren't necessarily intentional. And Sam's like, great, so we can't see them, but they can see us. And Teal'c points out, of course, that this gives them a significant strategic disadvantage. Jacob says that the Ritu are peaceful overall, and that the Goa'uld have actually killed most of them, as Charlie told them, because they perceive them as a possible threat, since they were having trouble seeing them also. So the Goa'uld developed these devices that would expose the creatures and that can kill them as well. He says that it's called a transphase eradication rod, and they continue to refer to it as a TER. And basically they ripped off that technology from the Goa'uld, which is how they have these things now. Jack says that he promised the kid that they would not kill his mom, and Hammond reminds them that Ritu, his mom, who we don't get a name for, is in fact here to help us. Then we get a hard cut back to the same scene.
So weird.
Conversation continues. Jacob says that the Ritu rebels are not like the overall Ritu as a whole people. They are terrorists, and they are known to kill and have killed a lot of people. Jack asks how many there are, and Jacob says they're not really sure, but their typical MO is to have groups of 5 or so, give or take, And they sneak into places, plant explosives, and then try to get out before any kind of detection. And Jacob asks if they have any idea why they're there. So everybody explains to him what Charlie told them about the plan to try to eradicate all possible hosts for the Goa'uld in order to save themselves from the Goa'uld. And they figure out that, all right, well, the Ritu are not able to get through the iris, so that's good at least. They still wouldn't be able to integrate, even though their phase shifted 180 degrees, supposedly. But at the same time, the weapons that they have might be kind of effective, might slow them down a little bit, but probably wouldn't be all that great. So they're really going to need these special weapons that the Tok'ra have. And Jack points out, too, that if they tried using their own weapons, they would essentially be shooting at nothing because they wouldn't be able to see anything. And Jacob's like, yeah, exactly, because it's hard to shoot a moving target, and it's even harder to shoot a moving target that you can't see. So your best bet at this point, for lack of more of these weapons, is going to be advanced intel, knowing where these people or where these Ritu are coming from and how and when. So Jack figures he should go talk to Charlie's mom at this point, and maybe she'll have some of that information for him. Daniel points out that if she does have an address for them to check, that it might be a little bit too risky for them to go and check because they might accidentally let some back through the gate with them when they return without even knowing. And Jacob's like, nope, we'll know. We have our TERs. We'll know if we have anybody else come through the gate with us. And Hammond's like, well, we at least have to try.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Does it sound to you like Daniel had a cold here?
It did. I noticed that.
Yeah.
I was waiting for him to sneeze.
Yeah, yeah.
But this time it wasn't part of the plot line.
No, it's probably just
for any seeming reason.
Poor actors working through their illnesses.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Before the COVID times.
Yeah.
You for sure would not be allowed to work through your illness, which really should have been the case all along, realistically.
Yes, people should be allowed to be sick and lay down and not do things.
Exactly.
Anyway.
And not spread it to all their coworkers.
All that
even
too.
if it's not a deadly thing, it's still miserable to get a cold from someone else, and it's gross.
Yeah.
Also.
Yeah.
Also gross. Yeah.
Jack goes to see Charlie, who's sniffling convincingly, and says, Mom says not to cry. And Jack approaches and tells him that crying is okay. But Charlie says the boys of your culture don't cry, and Jack says, no, that's not true. There's a whole list of reasons that crying is a good thing. Charlie says his mom is leaving, and Jack says that's reason number 6 on the list. 5 moms already left, and he's going through this list, but Charlie interrupts him and says that mom is still here now, and she's leaving once she's given them all of the info she can. And Jack asks, is she not taking you with her? And Charlie says mom's gonna leave him here with his own kind. Jack agrees this might be a good idea. Charlie says, I belong with you, Jack. And Jack asks, can she tell us where to find the rebels before she leaves? And she is going to give Jack the address. Charlie asks if Jack can be his son for a while. Jack's not sure about
That's
that.
weird.
Yeah. And Charlie's like, but you'd be great, I can tell. And Jack's like, we'll talk about this after we deal with the Ritu. Yeah.
Later on in the gate room, the Malp is on the ramp. They're getting ready to send it through, and there are several teams, including SG-1 and some Tok'ra, geared up with weapons drawn. They send the Malp through first. Jacob tells Hammond that this whole big team of people that they have is really going to be overkill since the Ritu only work in 5-person squads. And Hammond says that he's not taking any chances. He doesn't care. All these people are going. The technician says the Malp is scanning with the TER, and Hammond orders recon only, no shooting unless absolutely necessary, which we already know means absolutely nothing to Jack. Jack says, though, that it is hard to shoot, which you can't see. The technician says that the area around the gate is clear, so everybody makes a run for it through the gate. Literally running.
Yes.
Which made me wonder how fast they're coming through on the other side, but we don't find that out.
Yeah, they don't seem to come through that fast.
I didn't even really notice, and yeah, like they for sure aren't coming through at a sprint. The only thing, I mean, I was looking down typing, so I might have even missed it, but I looked up again and they were already kneeling with
Oh, okay.
information,
Yeah, no,
so-
they showed them coming out, but like the first people like went off to the side really quick, so nobody was like catapulted through because they ran through the gate.
Yeah, they're like literally sprinting through the gate. And then other times, as we've seen, they walk through the gate and they're catapulted in like several feet off the ground. So no consistency.
Yeah. They're on a planet. It's kind of a dirt clearing, but there's a tree line around it. So it's not a desert planet.
It's a tree planet.
It's a tree planet. They don't see any Ritu in their immediate vicinity that they've scanned around for, so they go snoop. As they're walking, Teal'c and Jacob start doubling over in pain, so there must be one nearby. Jacob can tell what direction they are in. I guess maybe he took a step to the side and I don't know. But anyway, he can tell, so he points the way.
Yeah, I don't think they can tell specifically. Like Teal'c before said that he couldn't tell exactly where in the room a Ritu was, but I think they can at least get a general sense of direction and maybe numbers.
So they head over and they peek over a ridge, aiming their TERs. And Jack says, "Whoa," and the reason he says that is there are a lot of them.
Yes, quite a bit more.
Way more than 5 or 10, yeah.
Yep.
Oops.
Sure are. So in the meeting room, Hammond's like, so the threat level is high? Everyone's like, yeah. Yes, it is. There are lots of them. Hammond asks if they're sure that none came back with them, and Jacob now says that they can't be sure, despite what he had told them earlier. And he does say that they don't think any came through with them. Selmac's tremor has finally stopped, he said, though, when they got back, so he doesn't think that there are any Ritu here with them. Jack says it only takes one to open the iris. So Sam suggests putting palm scanners onto the iris control system to prevent any non-humans from being able to open them. And Hammond says, do it. And then tells Jack that he should go talk to Charlie.
Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
In the control room, Sam is already got that palm scanner basically up and running, it looks like.
Did they just keep a bunch of extra palm scanners
I guess so.
hanging around?
They've got...
I don't know if that's abnormal
I
or
don't
not,
know.
So
I don't know.
I was curious.
Yeah. But then Teal'c doubles over. Sam notices and gets on the phone to Jack to ask if Mom is still with Charlie. She is, so they've got a stowaway Ritu. She hits the alert button, and the Tok'ra with them starts sweeping around with their TER. My question at this point was, why is Teal'c practically on the ground writhing in pain and this Tok'ra doesn't seem affected at all?
Right? I was wondering that too, and I was wondering if it was just something about the physiology of a Tok'ra versus a Jaffa. Maybe.
Who knows?
Yeah.
He finds a Ritu by the stairs, and the Ritu shoots the Tok'ra, and he is blasted through the glass into the gate room below.
Oops.
Yeah. The Ritu also shoots at Teal'c, but he jumps out of the way and rolls and grabs the TER and shoots the Ritu. Teal'c instantly seems better.
Yes.
And they look out the window, and the Tok'ra is super dead.
He does look quite dead.
He's got a big hole, like the monitor.
A large hole in his body, yes. Generally not a thing you can walk off, even with a hagfish.
No.
Yeah. Out in the hallway, Hammond, Jack, and Jacob are walking when Jacob doubles over again. Jack takes the scanner from him and sees that there are actually several Ritu up ahead. So much for that theory that there's none with them, because apparently that whole team did make it through.
Oops.
The Ritu shoot at them, they all dodge out of the way, and when Jack jumps back out and tries to find them again with the TER, they are all gone. Jacob figures that must be a terrorist team that didn't want to be seen until their destruction had already started. So now they're here, they're going to try to get out of the base to wreak havoc on various other places on the planet, and they'll have explosives as powerful as small nukes that can level whole cities, and so that's not good.
No.
Nope. Maybe they should try to prevent that.
Yes.
Yeah.
It looks like they've kind of turned off a lot of lights in the base. I think it was Sam who says that it'll provide better visuals, basically.
Yeah, better contrast or something.
Yeah. they've already sealed off much of the base, but their plan is to sweep the areas there that they think the Rito are in and seal off each section as they go through and clear it. Jack sends Jacob, Sam, and some rando in one direction. Teal'c and 2 other randos get another direction, and Jack, Daniel, and another rando go in the third direction.
I bet things will end well for this randos, just like it always ends well for the random red shirts and
So
stuff.
well.
In the hall, Teal'c is with his red shirts, sealing doors as they go. Sam and Jacob are in a different hallway with their red shirt and are fired upon. It misses them, and they continue moving ahead. Jack is searching with Daniel and their own red shirt. Daniel asks Jack, what if they come through the door behind us? And Jack freaks out and says, what? Turning around rapidly, presumably expecting to see a Ritu coming through the door behind them.
That's weird.
There isn't anyone there, and Jack tells Daniel, don't do that. But then when he turns around again to face forward, there is one right in front of him. They have a firefight. Their red shirt, shockingly, gets shot and killed. Back with Sam and Jacob, they're hiding. Their red shirt also gets shot and killed. Never saw that one coming.
Nope.
Apparently Jacob was also hit. He's got a pretty badly damaged shoulder, but overall he seems okay. He tells Sam that she needs to go and get the thing, but she hesitates because she doesn't want to leave him alone with his injury. But Jacob promises her that Selmac's going to take care of it. He'll be fine. And then Selmac comes out and tells her to go. So Sam carries on. She and Aritu exchange fire. The elevator door opens and closes, and she manages to do a badass maneuver with a grenade where she bounces it off a wall and then off of a fallen over table and into the elevator, and it explodes. She approaches the elevator carefully when the door opens again, and we see that it hasn't killed the thing. Its arm sticks out, and she can see it with her TER scanner thing. So the thing's not quite dead. I'm not dead! But she manages to rapidly round the corner and shoot it before it can shoot her.
Dad nods proudly.
He does, yes, quite. He wasn't with her, but he could still see. Jack, Daniel, and their red shirt, who is still alive, reach the infirmary. Jack signals to Daniel that they're going to bust in on 3, but Daniel silently signals back, but there's people in there. And Jack silently signals, obviously, I know that, but we're going in anyway. So they rush in, and he yells, hit the deck. Dr. Fraser and the nurse are alarmed and not expecting this, so they get out of the way. The SG people hesitate to fire until they're fired upon because they can't really tell the difference between the bad Ritu and the mom Ritu. So they do seem to be trying to be careful to avoid shooting her. The Ritu do start firing at them, so they start firing back at the ones who are firing on them. Apparently, Charlie's mom does also have a gun, but when they run their scanner over her, we see that she's pointing it up towards the ceiling, not at any of the people. Charlie looks over there and screams, "Mother!" And Daniel yells at everyone not to shoot her, but then all of a sudden she is in fact shot, but not by a person, rather by one of the rebel Ritus. And of course, Charlie is extremely distraught by that. Daniel looks around, finds the Ritu that shot Mom, and shoots that Ritu. Jack is groaning on the ground, but he's only been shot in the arm, so he's damaged, but he'll be okay. Sam and Teal'c and the others come in, and Jack asks for a count of how many they got, and Sam and Teal'c each say they got 1, and Daniel says they got 2, plus the mom got 1, so that is 5. Jack does order Sam to check the rest of the base, but they seem pretty sure that there aren't any more. Jack tells Charlie that he's sorry about what happened to his mom, and they hug. And then the kid goes limp. He calls Dr. Fraser over, and she and one of the remaining red shirts put the kid back in the bed. She checks his pupils and listens for chest sounds, which she says are weak. She does not immediately pronounce him to be in a coma, though. So that's good, because he's not. She says she can stabilize him for now, but that Jack has to remember that the kid's got 2 failing organs, at least. And Jack says, well, there's got to be something that you can do. And Dr. Fraser says, yeah, well, I can stabilize him, but there's not really anything long-term that she can do for him. So Jacob says, let us take him. He'll be safe with us. And they can give him his own hagfish, and that hagfish will take care of him. Daniel asks, well, isn't he too young to be a host? And Jacob says he is younger than might be normal, but the symbiote will teach him and he'll grow up with the wisdom that age brings. And Jack points out that the two keywords there are that Charlie will have a chance to grow up if he goes with the Tok'ra. And Dr. Fraser said, yeah, that's probably the only way that's going to happen. So Jack says, go ahead and do it.
Wow.
No one asks the kid what he wants.
No, I was going to say, are they going to get the kid's consent before they put a
Right?
hagfish in him? Isn't that the Tok'ra's whole thing?
Right.
I guess if your questions are, you're a child, do you want to die? And they're like, no.
Yeah.
Then I guess that's, I don't know.
I guess. I mean, this kid's pretty young, but not like that young. So hopefully they gave him a good explanation of
Yeah.
what was happening.
Hope so. In the gate room, Jacob and Charlie are getting ready to skedaddle. Jacob is leaving the TERs with them on Earth and was going to send along any more if they get them. Charlie has put back on his Ewok costume, and Dr. Fraser leads him into the gate room. Charlie walks over to Jack crying. Jack gets down to eye level with him and tells him that another rule they have is that it is okay to be sad when saying goodbye to a new friend. Charlie wants to stay with Jack, but obviously that's not possible because he'll die. So Jack says Jacob's going to take you where you can get well, but I'm going to come visit you and you can come visit me.
Do you think that he's going to give him a puppy on one of these visits?
I hope
Cassandra
so.
got a puppy.
She did get a puppy. Yeah.
I would feel kind of like I was ripped off if I didn't get a puppy out of this.
right?
If I found out that some other kid got a puppy out of this.
I know. Well, they haven't told him about Cassandra yet.
It's true. He might not even know what a puppy
It's
is.
true. Selmac warns that the Ritu will not give up so easily. Sam's like, well, we got the ham scanners now. That's good. And Selmac tells Teal'c he needs to be diligent since he's the only one who can sense them. And they're going to send more. The gate whooshes open, and Jacob is back to say goodbye to Hammond and give Sam a kiss goodbye. He takes Charlie's hand, and they go through the gate. End of episode.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
Kathy,
Yes, Mary.
did you like this episode?
Yes? Sort of. It wasn't my favorite.
Yeah.
It wasn't the worst. It's somewhere in a middling kind of episode. Nice to see Jacob Carter again. I like him much better now that he has a hagfish in him.
Agree.
And I don't know. It was interesting to have more alien. This is interesting because it adds another like layer to the fight with the Goa'uld. It feels like because there's this other alien species that is an enemy of the Goa'uld, but has decided to approach things from a way that is not good for the people of Earth. And yeah, I don't know. So that was all fine, but I wasn't. I don't know. Not super excited about the kid talking to air and then interpreting the air at people, and I don't know. That's not saying much. I'm sorry.
You should be sorry. I'm judging you for it. I'm sure everyone else is too.
Yeah. I'm sorry, guys. I failed you.
Show over. Podcast canceled.
Wah, wah. Fine.
I think I liked it a little bit more than you did. I liked the plot. I like the idea of, I mean, I don't really necessarily know about different creatures living on different phases of existence that are like 180 degrees out of sync with ours, but you know, I know that there are multiple planes of existence beyond the ones that we are able to perceive. So I do like the idea of there being other creatures that are in other dimensions that we just can't see. So I thought that was kind of cool. I also like the idea of like large intelligent beings that look nothing at all like humans. So I thought that these Ritu, like as a species, were pretty cool because of those two reasons. So I liked meeting them as a species, even though the ones that we got to meet were unfortunately not the peaceful ones, but were in fact the terrorist ones rather than the peaceful ones. Well, except for Mom. Mom was good. That the kid I am not a big it's not all child actors that I dislike, but this one in particular I don't really like either. I didn't like his character on the X-Files. I don't really like his character here. He just has such a monotone way of speaking, and I don't know if that's just how he was told to act on both the X-Files and here, but he essentially played the same character on the X-Files and here, where he's just very monotone and doesn't really emote at all. And like, I know we see that in other characters like Teal'c, but it's somehow different. Like, it just seems like this kid is reading his lines and not even trying. Unlike Ryak, who's like trying to emote but just doing it poorly. Like, this kid seems like he's not even bothering to try to have emotions. So I'm not a huge fan of the child actor. Hopefully no one finds that too insulting that I'm not a big fan of the kid, but child actor / character that I didn't like aside, I liked the overall story arc.
All right.
Of the episode. So yeah,
That's
in
fair.
general, I did like it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's next?
Next, I'm excited.
Ooh.
We will be watching Stargate SG-1.
What? No
I
way.
know.
That is exciting.
It is exciting. But wait, it
There's
gets
more?
better.
Oh my goodness.
Season 2,
Oh, holy shit.
episode 21. What? And to continue numbers, 1969.
Oh, that is a good episode.
Yes.
Yay. Okay.
Yeah. From the Netflix, the team is propelled to a facility in 1969. Carrying a letter General Hammond gave her, a young Hammond tells Carter the letter is from his future self. Or...
Yeah, I am also excited.
Yeah. Yes. And from the booklet, a solar flare sends the SG-1 team back to 1969, where the U.S. military command suspects the team of espionage. O'Neill and his crew escape and hitchhike with 2 Woodstock-bound kids, desperate to find the Stargate before they're stuck in the psychedelic past forever.
Psychedelic past.
That's all 1969 was, and they're stuck there forever.
The entire era was psychedelic. Like, you didn't even need to be taking anything. You just went out and, like, everything was blue and red and purple and hallucinatory.
And it continues. Like, it's still that way. So that's what happens if you existed in 1969. Your life is forever.
Exactly.
Woo!
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah, so I guess spoiler, I like this episode. I know I like this episode.
Spoiler, I also know I like this episode. So yeah, I'm very excited for that. That's great.
Me too.
This actually, the episode we watched today was not the episode I was thinking about that I know I like also.
Oh, interesting.
Where there are other new alien species that we are introduced to. So I don't know which episode I was thinking of, but this wasn't the same one. But I did still, as I said before, like it for the most part anyway.
Is it another Ritu episode?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't really remember. I just remember some bits and pieces of it, but it's been a while since I watched it, so I don't remember it too specifically.
Okay.
Yeah. As always, thank you for listening. Please subscribe to us on your podcatcher of choice if you haven't already done so that you can get our episodes when they come out every Monday, as they will continue to do, even with my 3 jobs and crazy schedule, because the semester will end eventually, right? That's all good. You can also find us on YouTube. Reviews and likes are greatly appreciated on all platforms, and word of mouth is also great for helping other people find the show so that we can continue expanding our audience. If you'd like to get in touch with us, you can email us at stargatezing@gmail.com. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram, where we are at Stargatezing. If you're feeling generous, you can sign up to be a monthly patron at patreon.com/stargatezing, where you get access to bonus episodes and extra information about what's going on behind the scenes and whatnot from us. If you're interested in doing a one-time donation and want access to not necessarily all of that donor content, but you at least want access to our SG Origins review, you can head over to PayPal and send us a donation of $15 or more to stargatezing@gmail.com for access to a special one-time donor only feed for our Stargate Origins episodes. And last but not least, you can find our website at stargatezing.space. I'm Mary.
I'm Kathy.
And you've been listening to Stargatezing, The End.
The end.
Yeah, I felt bad. I had to leave Coconut Snuggles so that I could come in here because I haven't been home all day since I was in New York.
Yeah.
But it's all right. I'll go back to Coconut Snuggles while I do my grading later.
Yay!
After my stupid workout.
Yeah. God.
Stupid health goals.
So dumb.
It is dumb. All right, let me stop this
Okay.
recording. Let me move my microphone so I don't bash it against my arm.